Okay, so welcome to another edition of With Enough Prep Time with your host, Smoking Jesus. So, um, we were doing a series of videos on the top 10 greatest rivalries in comic book history. Before I start, I just want to thank all the subscribers to my channel. It's very, very appreciated, and keep on subscribing. Thanks a lot. Now, straight on to my number 6 rivalry, comic book rivalry of all time. This one is one that's very, very dear to my heart, and it's one of my favorite superheroines or superheroes of all time, period. And that is the rivalry of Wonder Woman and Ares. Now, this is a great, great rivalry that is severely underwritten and underrated. I mean, immediately when you get the image of Wonder Woman, the emissary of peace, who famously has the words in that kind of jingle or song from the 70s TV program, you know, she can stop a war with love, blah, blah, blah. And then you have the God of War, you know, so it's an immediate, like, elemental, clearly defined and understood rivalry between the two of them. Now, I wanted to just say quickly and do a little preamble to this about the Wonder Woman character. Like, I imagine that this one of all of the rivalries on my list is going to be one of the more obscure to a lot of viewers. A lot of viewers are not going to know that much about the history of this rivalry. However, I want to go into a little bit about the reason why that is. Now, Wonder Woman is clearly one of the most famous superheroes in the world. If you ask anybody for a list of 10 superheroes, Wonder Woman is likely to come up at about, she's going to come up at some point. If you keep saying, okay, another superhero, another superhero, another superhero, she's going to come in at like maybe number 10 or something. Then I say Superman, Batman, Iron Man, because he's hot at the moment, the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, maybe Thor at the moment again because of the Avengers, but that's just in recent years. Before recent years, Wonder Woman would have come up. And that shows the absolute power of the iconography of this particular character, that even after years of not being in the public eye since the 70s and the repeats of the television show, she still nonetheless remains one of the most famous characters of comic book creations of all time. She's also, she had one of the great TV shows of the 70s for a superhero character. One of the things, I mean, this is a bit of a hit and miss with me. I really do, in a kind of nostalgic sense, think that the 70s show was a great, great show and really should have happened, and good on them for doing it. I think the way Linda Carter represented the character was with dignity and grace. However, I think that image of Wonder Woman has stuck, and because there have been no retellings of the story to fit the kind of modern, more cynical, sensibilities of our age, Wonder Woman has fallen to the wayside. So she's very much known and famous. However, she's not popular because people think of her as, this camp superhero with a lasso of truth. However, in the comics, on the other hand, there have been some really, really great runs, from Greg Rucka to Gail Simone to George Perez, and they have been they've really redefined the character, not redefined her, but brought out the essence of the original idea by William Marston Morrison, and kind of brought out like all the aspects that were all originally there but like weren't highlighted, which make now the character very, very cool and appealing to the modern age. So comic readers of her series love her, and they're diehard fans and want this new badass Wonder Woman to finally make it to the big screen or to a television program, because we know, just like the people in the 70s fell in love with her story, people now will fall in love with her story. It is timeless. It can be taken from any period, it can be retranslated into any period of time. So that's Wonder Woman. And then there's Ares and her rogues gallery, which I want to talk about as well. Again, really, really underappreciated rogues gallery. She's got some fantastic rogues, really does. I'd say about 10 ones that are amazing, but are not, you know, every time a different group of comic, you know, like writers go onto the Wonder Woman book, they instead of kind of refreshing and you know, fleshing out these characters, they just leave them at the wayside. And you know, Greg Rucka as Simone has done some great job of not only refreshing some of the older characters and showing how cool they can be, but also bringing in some new badass rogues for Wonder Woman. But one of her most classic, probably my favorite, is Ares. So let's go into what makes this such a classic rivalry. I'm going to have to go into this very quickly. But first of all, there's Wonder Woman. She is what? She's this really hot-tempered, sexy, especially when she's angry, super-powered warrior chick. You know, she's got Superman's, like, kind of, well, I wouldn't say Superman's powers, but Superman level of powers. But she's also got the kind of training and skills of Batman. So you've got a kind of person who can fight with the skill and style of Batman, with like you know, with these just immense superpowers, which makes her awesome. Because obviously women throughout history have always been depicted as this kind of damsel in distress characters, or femme fatale. But you know, to have a straight up heroic badass chick is very, very rare. Equally to that, she's trained by women, and you know, there's this kind of feminist icon. So all of that is very, very appealing when you look at Wonder Woman. She also knows how to accessorize pretty well, so that makes her all very, very charismatic. And who is the villain to take on this extremely charismatic lady? A charismatic and elegant lady? It has to be the militant god of war, who has absolutely no interest in taking over the world at all. All he wants to do is just plunge it into eternal warfare, till the point, as is classically said in the animated film, which you should watch if you haven't, until he can walk on the back of 6 billion corpses. What an image. So this guy's a true psychopathic bastard. You know, people tend to see Cheetah as Wonder Woman's greatest villain for some reason. I don't know why. I would say, without a doubt, her best villain, and the one that you know, really cuts to the core of Wonder Woman's ideology, is Ares. You know, he has the kind of evilness of the Joker, but the charisma and intellectual prowess of a Bond villain, and, of course, the powers of, well, a god. What are those powers? Strength, speed, durability at godlike levels. The guy can also control, you know, like, you know, modern military weapons. He's got a kind of, he can control them with his mind, essentially, technopathy, and he can raise spirits from the dead. So necromancy as well is one of his powers. That's a really cool power set. As I said, Wonder Woman isn't without her charisma as well. You know, the princess of an island of emancipated female slaves, now dedicated to peace. Nothing gets Wonder Woman's nerves, you know, or engine revving more than the victimization of the innocent and vulnerable by the strong, which is why she is so kick-ass. You know, you get on the wrong side of her and she will kick your ass, and she will do it in style. So why is this rivalry not number 5? Well, it's simple, really. To be honest, in the history of comics, not much has been made of this rivalry. Where it has happened, there's been instant chemistry, but there needs to be more. A film with Ares as the main villain is, I think, the best way to go about it, and I imagine that he is instantly going to become one of the most beloved villains of all time.